So first one we're going to talk about is uptime, and as you can see on here, the fancy technical definition for that one is the time during which a machine, especially a computer, is in operation. Basically what that means is anytime the computer is on and running applications or doing something, that is uptime. It has an internal timer that keeps ticking because it hasn't been turned off or shut down. So to kind of explain that, Gary will explain why that is bad and how we can prevent that.
Yeah, so one of the reasons it's bad is that it definitely takes a toll on the computer. Very much like myself. If I worked 5 days a week with no sleep, I'd be exhausted and start making mistakes too.
What?
So one of the ways that we can prevent this is to shut down and restart your computer. I know a lot of times people work on like laptops and they'll tend to like close the lid. Well, that actually doesn't shut down your computer. So it's always best to either hold down the power button or to even click the power button on the screen and actually shut down your machine.
Yeah. So I was going to say, that's basically, I do it at the end of every week because that's how I can be like, all right, I'm done. Work's over for the week. I'm going on the weekend, and I'm going on the beach somewhere.
For sure.
So next, we're going to get into two big technical terms, RAM and cache, and not the cache that everybody likes to spend, not the green cache, the computer cache. So what that stands for is random access memory is your computer's short-term memory. It's where the data is stored that your computer processor needs to run your applications and open your files. A cache is a software or hardware used to temporarily store information, often data, in a computer system. So basically, with all that being said, what that means is RAM is whenever you have an application open or you have, a PDF open, whatever, and that gets closed real quick and you open it right back up. That is what, quote unquote, remembers your place, like what you were doing. Same way with cache. RAM is more of on the computer side. Cache is more of the web browser side. So when you go to your meal prep website or wherever, you're going to order, Burger King or something. You start adding stuff to your cart. All of a sudden, you get out of that web page or you go to a different web page. Cache is what is going to remember what all you clicked on and where you were at that exact moment in time.
For sure. And, I know I'm have a pretty bad habit of it, but I don't close all of my windows all the time. And so your short-term memory on your machine is actually limited.
Yeah.
And so if you use too many things all at once or have too many windows open, it can really start to clog that up and act really, really slow.
Yeah, kind of like that's why I chose that picture for that slide. It's basically that guy is your computer and it's going along, and the more you click, the more you look up this, that, and the other. It keeps adding on to the back end of that motorcycle, and as you could probably tell, that motorcycle's not going very fast the more that stuff gets put on it. So that's kind of the best way I could describe RAM and cache in a simple term.
For sure. And there is a couple ways that we can go about preventing the issues of short-term memory being too full. Again, kind of closing out of tabs that you might not use every day. Or, like I said previously, to just go ahead and shut down and restart your computer. It definitely helps with kind of restarting that short-term memory for the machine.
Yeah. So the next one is one that people are kind of familiar with and all that. It is updates. The technical term for that is a patch, upgrade, or other modification to code that corrects security and or functionality problems in software. Everybody kind of knows this, but if there's a bug in an application or there's a security patch because there's a vulnerability, this is how those get sent out to computers and applications and all that, is via updates. So, and I know what everybody's thinking, oh, well, you better wait on doing updates. You better wait a month because then a new update's just going to come out and fix that old update. That is not true, and you should definitely not do that.
For sure. Not doing updates, especially for software on your computer, is very much like a car not getting its maintenance.
Exactly.
And so obviously down the road that can cause a lot of problems. And there also can tend to be some communication issues between software or even your computer with the software that you have.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of basically the application is here, your computer is here, your computer wants to talk to the application, but the application is basically saying, I don't know how to talk to you because I can only talk to these couple of versions, and you're on this version. So we're kind of speaking two different languages, and that's why it just spits out the random error code that when you go to look it up, nothing comes out because it's not a true error code. it spits something out at you.
Absolutely. And there is a couple ways that we can go about actually preventing those errors from coming up or any issues with that. The biggest thing is automatic updates. So I know like most people's phones or even on your computer, you'll see pop-ups that are say like, oh, do you want to reboot now or later for this like recent update that's come out? A lot of times, if you're in the middle of something, you don't have to absolutely stop everything and reboot. But maybe once a day or even, like I said, at the end of the week, to go ahead and restart or shut down your computer, and it will run those updates for you.
Yep. It's a full circle, people. We're coming full circle. So kind of the last couple. The next one we have is storage, kind of self-explanatory, but it is your computer or laptop's long-term memory. It's where the data is stored that your computer processor needs to run your applications and open your files. So RAM, it's kind of the short term, so what you need quick. This is where everything else goes to live. So your documents, your PDF files, your downloads, all your computer like your CAD programs, this, that, the other. That is basically goes to your long-term storage because you don't need that stuff quickly, but you might need it 5 days from now or something like that. That is where all this is stored.
For sure. And honestly, just like your short-term memory on your computer, your long-term memory is limited as well. We only have so much room that we can use. And so anytime that you hit save or download on anything, it actually adds it to that long-term memory.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways that we can go about preventing that, any issues coming from that as well. So a lot of times when I hit delete on something, I tend to just forget about it because it's gone now, right? Well, wrong. A lot of times it will go to your recycle bin on your computer. Looks like a little icon on your desktop, empty recycle bin. If you click on that, you'll see actually most recent things that you've tried to delete. It's always a good idea to go in there and empty that every once in a while.
Yeah, and so the recycle bin and your downloads folder, those are the two places that you can kind of purge that at the end of the week, and it helps with space because, obviously if you have Cheesecake Factory Monday, you download the menu for the to-go order. You don't need that 5 Mondays from now unless you eat Cheesecake Factory every day. But
for sure,
basically those two folders, you can empty those out kind of whenever, and that helps with storage. And last but not least, we have PC location and desk cleanliness. This is kind of self-explanatory. Obviously, if you have a messy desk and your PC is tucked in a little tiny cubby hole, this can cause issues because...
this can cause issues because of heat. A lot of times computers tend to overheat if they're in really small or enclosed places. I know I like to have a little bit of elbow room when I work, and they do too.
Yep.
They could also have a lot of dust on them as well, and that can clog up and also cause them to overheat.
Yeah. And, obviously that's kind of why sometimes when you go to click on those computers that are brand new and you click on it and it sounds like a jet engine is trying to take off, it's not because the computer's slow, it's because the computer's hot and it's trying to cool itself off so that way it doesn't explode.
Absolutely. And just like the others, there are other ways that we can prevent that from happening. One of the big things is to put it in some open air. Basically, not put it in a cubby, don't enclose it, just kind of leave it open and working, as well as to wipe the dust off. Now, obviously, you don't have to take your computer apart to do that.
No.
Just kind of wipe down the big stuff, especially around the vent areas as well, so you can breathe a little easier.
So that is all the time that we have. If you liked what you heard here, obviously we can talk about it more. Again, want to invite everybody out to our Lunch and Learn that we have going on. That is February the 12th, that Wednesday. And we are talking about Microsoft Teams, again, what all that tool can do, because it is definitely more than just like a little instant messenger that you probably use it for. There's a lot more functionality to it. So come on out. We'd love to, obviously teach you that. And if you're like me, free food, so what could go wrong? And then lastly, again, if you like what you heard here or you want, you got questions about other stuff, feel free to give us a call, send us an email. And as our new logo shows, good people, great IT. We'd love to help you and just share our knowledge with you. So before we head out, you got anything else you want to say to them?
No, I think I'm all right.
All right, that sounds good. Well, it's getting into February, so just spread the love and everybody have a great year this year.